Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Fatin Rashizana and I will explain about periodization in Mediterranean Sea. Okay, the first Persian period, Hellenistic period, Roman Carthaginian, Roman Mare Nostrum, Byzantine and Golden Age of Islam. Okay, Persian period. The first Persian period founded by Cyrus the Great around 550 BC and it also referred to Achaemenid Empire. Cyrus the Great, which is the fourth king of Achaemenid Empire, ruled over the Persian when it has large domination, which is from the Caucasus and West Asia to the Macedonia, the Black Sea, Central Asia, and even to Africa, including Libya and Egypt. Darius and Xerxes, which is the king of Achaemenid Empire, they have been influenced by the idea of Sargon, which is they need to rank and single out the shores of the upper and lower seas. They include the Mediterranean and Persian Gulf. That's why Mediterranean become the important sea in projecting the world rule. The Persian Empire entered the period of decline after a failed invasion of Greece by Xerxes I in 480 BC. The Achaemenid dynasty finally fell to the armies of Alexander the Great and lost the influence in Mediterranean Sea in the late 4th century following the Alexander's conquest. Okay, second, Hellenistic period. Hellenistic period happened in the Eastern Mediterranean and Middle East in the period between the death of Alexander the Great in 323 BCE and the conquest of Egypt by Rome in 30 BCE. It named as Hellenistic period because the essential Greekness that part of Alexandrian were even after Alexander's death. They released a large quantity of silver and gold of Persia as source of economy, but suddenly the price began to fall. Then, in order to make up the problem, they make a standard price for the gold and silver and continue to use it to raise the economic condition. The Egyptian trade was mainly by sea, featuring the port of Berenice and on the Red Sea, while Alexandria was established as one of the greatest mercantile centers on the Mediterranean. Within the Mediterranean basin, trade was mostly essential thing and many things that they can get through the basin, which is such as silver from Spain, copper from Cyprus, iron from the Black Sea coast, and tin from Cornwall. Okay, the third period is Roman Carthaginian period. Carthage located across the Mediterranean in northern Africa, and the Phoenician colony that lived in Carthage on commercial network that had extended across western Mediterranean. But then suddenly Roman naval power came to take control of Roman Mediterranean trade. Rome defeated Carthage in three Punic War and they gained control of the western Mediterranean. Okay, how Roman can defeat Carthage? Okay, first, in the first Punic War, it ended with Rome took over Sicily and Corsica and had power control in naval as well as land. And in Second Punic War, the great Carthaginian general Hannibal invaded Italy and won over them. But then he was defeated and left Rome in control of the western Mediterranean and Spain. And even though Rome has already defeated the Carthaginians, but they still want to take over totally of the Carthage. And lastly, in the Third Punic War, the Romans captured and destroyed the city of the Carthage and turned Africa into province of the Romans. Okay, this is a map of how the Roman Empire took over the Carthaginian territory. Okay, the Roman Mare Nostrum. Mare Nostrum refers to the Latin for our sea, that used by Romans as a name for the Mediterranean Sea. The term Mare Nostrum, our sea, was first used by Romans following their conquest of Sicily, Sardinia, and Corsica after the First Punic War. Then, Roman domination extended from the Iberian Peninsula to Egypt, and Mare Nostrum was used in the context of whole Mediterranean Sea. Okay, the term Roman Mare Nostrum implied to show Roman dominance of the Mediterranean and the cultural diversity of the nation. The sea and all areas surrounding it was full of commerce and naval development, which is the Roman used the economic and in Mediterranean Sea wisely. Besides that, they facilitate the movement of goods and people wisely, and the piracy in that time was suppressed from the Mediterranean Sea. But the Roman Mare Nostrum collapsed with the collapse of Romans in 476 C. Okay, for the Byzantine time, the term Byzantine derived from Byzantium, an ancient Greek colony founded by a man named Byzas. Byzantine located at European side of Bosphorus, the strait linking the Black Sea to the Mediterranean, and the location of Byzantine was ideal to serve as a transit and trade point between Europe and Asia. In 330 Anno Domini, Roman Emperor Constantine first chose Byzantine as the site for the new Rome, by Constantinople as the capital city. Byzantine started to crumble after being attacked by invaders continuously and began lost territory on Mediterranean land. In 634, Muslim armies began their assault on Byzantine Empire by storming into Syria, and by the end of the century, Byzantine lost Syria, Egypt, and North Africa to Islamic forces. The fall of Constantinople marked the end of glorious era of the Byzantine Empire, and all the territorial land and sea was taken over by the Ottoman Empire. Okay, lastly, which is Islamic Golden Age. Islamic Golden Age started in the 7th century when Islam emerged from the desert of the Arabian Peninsula, conquered the old Egyptian, Persian, Roman, and Near Eastern Empire. By the 640th century, Muslim forces advanced across North Africa, conquering Sicily in 652 and the Iberian Peninsula in 711. By the early 8th century, Islamic territories had almost encircled the Mediterranean. The Mediterranean has been linking sea, and Islam became established power on it, and in 831 until 1071, Emirate of Sicily became the major center of Islamic culture in Mediterranean. The Islamic side of the Mediterranean was the station of trading network between East and West Asia, and Muslim states controlled other roads along which precious commodities were carried back and forth. In Europe, the main destination for the luxury import was Italy. The city-republic of Venice, Florence, and Genoa controlled maritime trade in the Mediterranean. In 711, the army of Islam conquered the Iberian Peninsula, which now became the westernmost outpost of the Islamic Empire. Most of the peninsula remained under Islamic rule until the early of 13th century.